you're talking about, would agree with you to a great deal, but also look for the positive things, because if I look at the young people that come out for my rallies, I see young people who are very dedicated, they're very principled, they're idealistic, and they're not decadent when it comes to computers and the internet. They're pretty darn smart. And I don't know the technology, but I know how valuable it is, and I'm able to use it and get other people to help me. So in that sense, I become the optimist, because technology so far in most of all of history has always been used to enhance the power of the state and to kill people, you know.
Yes,
but
sir.
This is one time, if we're smart enough, that we ought to be able to use this technology and spread information. I mean, you do it all the time. You know about the technology. We're spreading this message. So I get to be optimistic that all we have to do is continue this. And that is why in my farewell speech, the most dangerous trend that we have to stop is the threat to our civil liberties, our ability to resist. You know, what are these people, how many people are going to be arrested, you know, and put in secret prisons, and how often are we going to be able to maintain our First Amendment rights and our Second Amendment rights? That is the protection of civil liberties that's most important. But the best way to do is awaken a generation, and we have the tool, and it's the internet, and we have a very responsive young group, and what happens to the establishments, they beat this out of us. They do it with every generation to make you feel like you're a bad guy because you think freedom is good. Now, our job, and we have these tools, is to make sure that this whole new generation knows that freedom, their instincts are right. We're all natural believers in liberty. We're all libertarian in the sense that we want to be left alone, but it's beaten out of us by our system, the movies, the schools, the government, all of these things. So I see a tremendous opportunity, and I hope I'm not totally deceiving myself, but I'll keep working with the assumption that we can change people's minds.
Yes, sir. And to be clear, I was speaking in generalities like you did in your powerful farewell address from Congress that's gone so viral out there, thank God, thanks to drudgereport.com and other big sites that posted it, millions and millions of views just on the internet alone, that obviously there are the liberty-loving people who are a growing minority. But it's pretty much the wheat from the chaff. People are either getting totally mind-blown and accepting any level of corruption, or they're getting more and more active. And we have to take heart, as you've said, 5% started and won the Revolutionary War. Well, we're trying to win an info war. We've got more like 25, 30% now that are awake. All we've got to do is wake up others, and then we're going to take the country back. And so there's a race by the authoritarians to take over, but there's good factions, and people need to know that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the thing that's on our side is not only has our message grown in popularity and we've been able to spread it, but the opportunity is the absolute failure of their system. Communism, you don't hear people come out and say, you know, I'm a communist, so I think the communism is going to take over the world. Communism failed. It fell apart. The Soviet system doesn't exist. But Keynesianism, the planned economy, welfareism, inflationism, it's failing.
It's failed over and over again, and they keep saying capitalism has failed. No, crony.
Well, that's a big challenge. We have to make sure that we don't get blamed. It isn't capitalism that failed. They haven't ever really even tried total free markets, and that's what we should force on them.
I agree with you. Moving quickly, there are other points. Campaignforliberty.org. I've been told, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there from different folks. You've got 3 big things that are going to be announced soon. A, can you give us any sneak peek? And B, when will this announcement come, Ron Paul?
Well, there are a lot of things I've been talking about and planning for. They're not quite ready, but there's a possibility I'll be able to do some type of programming, you know, on the internet, not on regular TV. And if that works out, you know, I think we can get a big audience for what we're doing. I'm going to be very interested in promoting homeschooling because I talk about education all the time, and I think the public school system is failing. And, you know, it isn't the rich people that are taking their kids, you know, doing the homeschooling, but I think average people and even poor people can salvage their children from the system by homeschooling. And I'm also going to be touring the colleges. Soon I will be starting that, so I'll continue to do that. So I have a lot of things that I can do. do, but they're not all firm yet.
That's right. But, I mean, I heard about a Ron Paul theatrical release, Ron Paul TV, and something else I heard is being planned.
What is that?
Well, I want to make sure, you know, little birds tell me this and that, but I keep my ear to the ground. All I know is very exciting. And I'm not taking this moment to bash Glenn Beck. I've tried to be nice to him, but he says he's now the leader of the libertarian movement.
Yes, I saw that. I'll have to check him out. I wonder what he believes in.
Yeah, because he told me that your supporters 4 years ago were going to blow us up with bombs and that we did Oklahoma City. And then he keeps, you know, saying that we shouldn't get in the government's face. I mean, my only deal with Glenn Beck is he says I'm dangerous and basically shouldn't be on the air. Piers Morgan basically says that as well. And then now he tells me that he's my leader and that he's now going to become Ron Paul and Alex Jones, I guess, mixed. Do you have any comments on that?
Not too much, because I don't know exactly what he's talking about. All I can do is speak for myself on what I believe in and what I'm trying to do, and I've been pretty much upfront on, you know, what the principles are and in which direction we should go and effort. I think I do one thing differently than others, and that is I try to stick to, you know, ideas rather than personalities. And, of course, we've already mentioned the president, and I mentioned George Bush. But over the years, I basically don't attack the individuals. I don't generally attack Bernanke.
Sure, but you did call him a demagogue when he said that your supporters wanted to blow up buildings.
Yeah, that's for sure. But generally speaking, I don't do the personality thing. That doesn't mean that. Matter of fact, if you do the personality thing, you get a lot more attention. But I don't want it to distract. If people want, they'll try to entice me to say, "What should we do with Bernanke? How should we punish him?"
No,
remember
sure.
what our governor said that we should do with him. I might agree with it, and I might even say things along that way. But most of the time, I'll go and say, "It's the system. It's the system of the Federal Reserve."
No. I agree.
And that is what I want to concentrate. Some people will concentrate on different things. They'll have different tactics and different viewpoints, and I think that's fine.
No. Listen, I think Glenn Beck does a lot of great work and has gotten better and better. He is just systematically. I don't infight. You'll never hear my show talking about other people that are in the liberty movement. He just routinely says he said I made up the 1.6 billion bullets, even though that's AP, Reuters, direct federal purchases. You know, I'm making up the police state. I'm making up NSA spying. Your supporters want to blow buildings up. I mean, he is trying to gatekeep, and I'm just warning you that unless you join with Sauron, Dr. Paul, he's gonna stab you in the back. And I'm only saying that like kind of like a chart when you're coming into a bay in a boat. I'm just marking the chart, Dr. Paul. But you're a smart guy, you know that. We've only got about 6-7 minutes left. In closing, Sandy Hook and now the Feinstein bill and others to make us physically turn them in, not just go back and re-register with the ATF at their pleasure. Now they want to just open where they decide, law-abiding citizens turning their guns in. What is your take on that? And are you concerned about a purge or persecution of gun owners?
Well, I'm concerned about their inconsistency. They want to get rid of guns because somebody used a gun and did some violence. But we all know that more people are getting killed with hammers and fists and knives. So they're not very consistent. They see an opportunity. They want to get rid of the guns. Some people believe they're dangerous and want to get rid of them, and other people want to get rid of them because they know that guns can resist the government tyranny, and some people like the idea that governments become tyrants and they should run things. As long as the government kills children, it's okay, so they want to protect that. You know, all that scandal and outcry, which much of it was justified, seeing kids getting killed, it's a horror. But at the same time, how about those people who are saying, okay, this is an excuse to take away the rights of people who use guns to defend their family? How many of them are shouting and screaming about the children that our drones are killing on a daily basis because they're Muslim kids in different color and they're overseas and nobody had to line them up and shoot them? We can do it by directing drones from this country. That doesn't even count. So that's what their whole goal is to distract us from some of the horrors that governments perpetuate and the way they destroy our liberties, and they perpetuate the violence. I mean, compared to the violence that governments have perpetuated on the people versus what the people do to each other, there's no contest.
Historically, government's the #1 killer, as you know. University studies out of Hawaii and others, 292 million people killed in the 20th century, non-military combatants. We have a red alert, sir, that just came out while you were on with us. DrudgeReport.com, Weekly Standard, AP, you name it. Obama White House threatens executive action to physically confiscate the firearms. Biden has now given a speech, sir. They've got a bunch of state reps and federal reps. I've literally got over 10 articles. They're all calling for executive orders. And Obama is saying now that he'll do everything in his power, including executive orders. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we feared. Congressman, constitutionally, that's beyond a constitutional crisis. As a constitutional expert, sir, if he signs an order ordering we turn in our guns, what does that mean?
Well, it should go without saying that he's gone way too far. It also should go without saying that he's acting with the use of illegal violence, and he becomes the violent person to say that if you don't, and this is not new. He's been doing this, you know, environmental regulation. If Congress moves too slowly, well, I'll write an executive order. But he didn't invent the executive order and the signing orders. You know, I'll ignore this. It's a bipartisan
But
thing.
It's accelerating and getting dictatorial. Then that's how our military.
Yeah,
what do we do if Obama orders us to turn our guns in? Doesn't that make him a dictator if he just says, I'll do whatever I want?
Well, it's certainly a dictatorial move on that. If the American people had been a little bit better versed, maybe they wouldn't have reelected him. So I do not say that he is a dictator like some of the 20th century dictators that killed 290 million people. But these are dictatorial moves. They're very, very dangerous. And people say to me, why are you worried about, you know, the military arresting American citizens, National Defense Authorization Act? Because only 1 or 2 people were involved. Yeah, but the principle is 100% when you establish a principle. So what he's doing is perpetuating a principle of putting more power into the presidency, and it's very, very dangerous.
Setting the precedent under NDAA. We're almost out of time, sir. Will you turn in your semi-autos?
Well, I might not even have anything to turn in for that purpose, but I don't think the American people will. I've always assumed that the line in the sand may well be drawn. If the federal agent marches in unannounced and they say, well, give me your gun and give me your gold, I don't think we'll do that, you know, calmly. I think the American people will highly resent it and resist.
So you think I was right then telling Piers Morgan if they try to confiscate the guns, it will start 1776 Part 2?
Well, I don't know whether I put them in the same words, but I think I said something very similar to what you're saying. Well,
God bless you, sir. I hope we can get you back again in a month.
Very good.
What are any other websites that are important to plug? Just campaignforliberty.org?
Do that, and then we'll be listing some new things there because we're making some other web page. I'm going to have a home page. Unfortunately, I didn't have ronpaul.com, so I'm going to have ronpaulshomepage.com. That'll be coming up, but it's not ready yet.
All right, big announcements coming soon. We'll talk to you and say hi to the family. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.